Why did the wisest sages veil their truths in riddles? Why, at the very threshold of divine wisdom, do we find cryptic parables, paradoxes, and phrases that seem designed not to explain, but to mystify? To the one who has, more will be given. To the one who has not, even what he has will be taken. He who speaks does not know. He who knows does not speak. What is above is like what is below. These are not mere poetic flourishes. These are codes, spiritual encryption designed to bypass the intellect and awaken something deeper. In the ancient temples of Egypt, students were tested for years before being given even a single phrase of true instruction. In the Pythagorean schools, pupils listened in silence for 5 years before they were allowed to speak. In the East, Zen masters would answer questions with a shout, a gesture, or a story about a fish that dreams of being a man. To the uninitiated, this all seems absurd, evasive, even cruel. But what if the riddle itself is the teaching? What if understanding cannot be handed to you in plain speech, but must be unlocked through direct experience, intuition, and transformation? In this video, we will explore the esoteric reason ancient masters cloaked their teachings in paradox and metaphor. We will journey through mystery schools, sacred texts, and secret traditions. We will uncover the inner mechanism that makes the riddle a doorway, and why clear answers can sometimes lead you further from the truth than silence ever could. This is not a lesson in decoding metaphors. This is a revelation about how spiritual wisdom is structured, protected, and passed on, not through clarity, but through initiation. And once you understand why the path is hidden, you may begin to see with different eyes. From the pyramids of Kemet to the caves of the Himalayas, from the scrolls of the Essenes to the sayings of the Taoist sages, the ancient world has always guarded its most sacred truths, not with locks and chains, but with language that confounds the unready. This was not elitism. It was alchemy. In the Hermetic tradition, it is said, "The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding." This phrase, found in the Kybalion, does not mean wisdom is hidden to exclude, but rather it is veiled to preserve its potency. Knowledge misused becomes poison, but knowledge rightly earned becomes transformation. We see this echoed in the mystery schools of Egypt, where initiates underwent rigorous purification rituals before being allowed to even witness symbolic teachings. The hieroglyphs themselves were not merely a written language. They were living symbols, visual spells designed to open the inner eye, not just the mind. In the East, Zen Buddhism perfected the art of spiritual provocation. Masters like Linji and Joshu would answer direct questions with laughter, paradox, or silence. A monk might ask, "What is the way?" And the master would reply, "The cypress tree in the courtyard." Why? Because truth cannot be spoken. It must be realized in the moment. To the seeker who wants answers, riddles are frustrating. But to the seeker who is ready to awaken, riddles are keys. Likewise, in the Western esoteric tradition, we find that mystical teachings were passed on through allegory. The biblical parables of Jesus, the encoded visions of Revelation, the cryptic emerald tablet of Hermes, all use symbolic language that conceals as much as it reveals, and this was by design. As the Gospel of Thomas opens, these are the hidden sayings which the living Jesus spoke. And whoever finds the meaning of these words will not taste death. Notice, not whoever hears or whoever believes, but whoever finds the meaning. To find is to seek, to decode, to experience. Even the word occult means hidden, not evil. It refers to wisdom that cannot be grasped through casual inquiry or surface understanding. The ancient masters believed that the journey into mystery required effort, purity, and most of all, inner readiness. You do not give fire to a child. You teach them how to find the spark. And so, riddles were used not to confuse, but to ignite. They are living koans designed to short-circuit the logical mind, dissolve egoic certainty, and force the seeker into a deeper mode of perception. In every authentic spiritual tradition, we find this same principle. Truth cannot be taught, it must be remembered, and the riddle is a mirror showing you not what you are, but what you are not yet ready to see. To understand why the ancients cloaked truth in riddles, we must first understand the nature of truth itself. True spiritual knowledge is not information, it is initiation. It is not something you learn, but something you become. And in this sacred transformation, the mind, clever, restless, hungry for answers, is often the greatest obstacle. The rational mind is like a lantern in a vast forest. It lights only a few feet ahead, but believes it sees everything. The riddle is a thunderclap that extinguishes the lantern, forcing you to feel your way through the dark, to trust something deeper than logic. Ancient masters used riddles because they were not trying to explain truth, they were trying to activate it. Let us take a famous Zen koan. What is the sound of one hand clapping? At first glance it is absurd. A child might laugh, a philosopher might theorize, but a seeker, if they are sincere, will sit with it. Day after day, week after week, the question works on them like a seed underground. Slowly, it cracks open the layers of conditioned thought. It invites silence, not speech, presence, not theory. This is the genius of the riddle. It breaks the cycle of intellectual consumption and awakens intuitive knowing. In the Hermetic tradition, riddles serve a second, subtler function. They protect the power of sacred knowledge. Imagine giving a flamethrower to someone who doesn't know what fire is. The teachings of alchemy, energy manipulation, and consciousness transformation are not toys. They are tools of creation and destruction. That is why Hermetic texts, like the Emerald Tablet, are encoded in layered metaphors. That which is below corresponds to that which is above, and that which is above corresponds to that which is below. This is not merely poetic. It is a spiritual equation. But its meaning only becomes clear when you perceive the universe as a holographic mirror, where the macrocosm and microcosm reflect one another. The riddle conceals this truth not to frustrate you, but to invite only those who are ready. The unworthy pass it by, the arrogant dismiss it, but the sincere, they linger. And in their lingering, they begin to see. In esoteric Christianity, Jesus frequently taught in parables. When asked why, he said, "Because seeing, they do not see. Hearing, they do not hear, nor do they understand." In other words, the truth was present, but perception was absent. This is why initiation has always been more than education. It is a death and rebirth. The riddle is the coffin for the old mind and the womb for the new awareness. To the one who approaches truth as a riddle, the universe begins to whisper back in symbols, signs, and synchronicities. Because riddles change you. They don't just speak to the mind, they reshape the soul. Let us now go deeper. The riddle, you see, is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a mirror for the soul. And the more you gaze into it, the more it reflects not the answer, but the seeker themselves. In every great spiritual tradition, the riddle is not an obstruction. It is a filter. It separates the one who seeks comfort from the one who seeks truth. Comfort asks for clarity. Truth demands transformation. Consider the Gnostic saying, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." At first glance it seems poetic, perhaps even threatening. But meditate on it, and you realize it is a map. The riddle points to the hidden potential within, the divine spark, dormant in every soul, waiting to be remembered. But why cloak such truth in obscurity? Because the sacred must remain sacred. In the profane hands of ego, spiritual truth becomes doctrine, dogma, weapon. The riddle is the lock on the gate of the inner temple. The Kabbalists understood this deeply. In their teachings, the layers of meaning called pardes ranged from literal to mystical. Peshat, simple, remez, hint, derash, interpretation, and sod, secret. The deeper you go, the more symbolic and paradoxical the language becomes. The initiate must journey inward, guided not by intellect alone, but by insight born of experience. This structure is echoed in the structure of ancient myths. Take the Garden of Eden, not as history, but as allegory. The serpent is not merely a villain. It is Kundalini, coiled at the base of the spine, offering the fruit of awareness. The fall is not a punishment. It is a descent into duality, into knowledge, into the necessary forgetting that precedes awakening. But to read it this way requires symbolic literacy, a skill only developed through long contemplation, humility, and initiation. Ancient masters spoke in riddles because literal truths are fragile. They break under pressure. But symbolic truths are living things. They adapt, evolve, and remain potent across generations, cultures, and minds. A parable can be understood by a child and by a sage. But what they see will not be the same. Even modern science echoes this principle. Quantum physics teaches us that the observer affects the observed. Reality is not fixed. It responds to consciousness. The ancient riddle does the same. It bends and unfolds according to the depth of your awareness. The more ready you are, the more it reveals. And so, the master does not give you the answer. They give you the riddle, because the process of seeking is the real teaching. When the Sufi mystic Rumi wrote, "Try to explain love, and it disappears," he was pointing to this same mystery. Some things cannot be grasped. They must be embodied. To speak plainly of spiritual truth is to put a flame in a glass box. It may be visible, but it will soon die. But to speak in riddles is to hide the flame in dry wood, awaiting the spark of realization. So how can we apply the ancient art of riddles and symbolic wisdom to our modern spiritual path? The first step is to shift our relationship with knowledge itself. In today's world, we are trained to seek clarity, to demand quick answers, to Google our way out of discomfort. But true spiritual growth does not arise from consumption. It arises from contemplation. If the riddle is the gate, then patience is the key. When you encounter a spiritual teaching that confuses you, don't discard it. Don't rush to find an explanation online. Instead, do what the initiates of old did. Sit with it, write it down, meditate on it, let it trouble you. Let it work on your inner world. Remember, the riddle isn't asking you to understand it. It's asking you to be changed by it. Here is a practice. Choose a single spiritual riddle koan or symbolic phrase, something that stirs something deep in you. For example, the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Die before you die. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Now spend 1 week with just this phrase. Reflect on it each morning. Sit in silence with it for 5 minutes a day. Write down what it evokes, even if it's confusion or frustration. Watch how it begins to move within you. This is not idle repetition. It is alchemical digestion. The riddle becomes food for the subtle body. It nourishes your higher faculties, intuition, imagination, and insight. Another practical technique is dream journaling. Why? Because the unconscious speaks in riddles. Symbols, metaphors, and impossible events All arise in dreams not to confuse you, but to awaken you to non-linear knowledge. Start treating your dreams as messages from the inner master. Write them down, meditate on their imagery, let them teach you how to read the language of the soul. You can also practice symbolic awareness in daily life. Begin asking yourself, what is the deeper meaning of this moment? Whether you're caught in traffic or watching a bird take flight, pause and look beyond the literal. What might this experience be showing you? What is the metaphor, the hidden pattern? This mindset transforms life itself into a living scripture. Because the riddle is not just in texts, it's in your relationships, your struggles, your synchronicities. And when you start looking symbolically, the universe starts speaking back. One final note. Do not fear misunderstanding. In the esoteric path, confusion is not failure. It is initiation. Confusion means your old frameworks are dissolving. Something new is being born. So next time you read a mystical phrase that makes no sense, don't skip it. Let it become your mantra, your mirror, your map, because within that riddle may lie the answer you didn't know you were seeking. The ancient masters were not trying to confuse us. They were trying to awaken us. Their riddles were not barriers, but thresholds. They knew that truth spoken plainly is often heard and forgotten. But truth wrapped in mystery, clothed in paradox and sealed in symbol, will haunt the seeker's mind, echo in their dreams, and stir something deep within their soul. Because riddles are alive. They are teachers that follow you, whisper to you, and lead you through the labyrinth of your own consciousness. So when we ask, why did the sages speak in riddles? The answer is, because only a riddle can speak to the part of you that is eternal. Literal answers feed the mind. Symbolic truths awaken the soul. Today, we've lost the patience for mystery, but mystery is the very soil in which the spirit grows. Reclaim that mystery. Sit with the cryptic. Embrace the not knowing. Let the hidden meanings find you, not through force, but through surrender. Because when the riddle finally unfolds, it doesn't give you information, it gives you transformation. And perhaps, this is the greatest secret of all. The answer you seek was never hidden from you. You were hidden from it. But the riddle, the sacred riddle, has always been calling you home.